Facilities that make this program possible are provided by the City of Highland Park. Programs are produced independently by members of the community. The City of Highland Park is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of the City of Highland Park.
Hello, hi, I'm Joyice of the Highland Park Senior Producers, and today we have a unique guest for you, Mr. Mike McMahon. He's going to tell you all about his form of art, and it's so different than anyone else's, and he'll explain exactly what he does. Welcome, Mark.
Well, thanks, Joyce, for having me.
You're welcome.
I've enjoyed visiting with you, setting this thing up and talking about it over the last couple of weeks. And the way that I work is I go on location and do drawings of on location, and I'm an artist reporter. So I document different subjects. And I travel quite a bit, and I work out of my studio gallery in Highwood, and I cover my different subjects. Like I did the Democratic National Convention, and the way I work is I go there and then I set up with my bag on my lap and I do drawings right on location. And this is the way these drawings look when I'm working on them. This is in Philadelphia. This is the City Hall. And then this is Independence Hall in Philadelphia. And I also then went to the convention floor and did the Democratic National Convention, and I have sent those pictures in for you to take a look at of Hillary Clinton's.
We'll see them in a little while.
That's Hillary Clinton's balloon drop, and then also Michelle Obama's talk.
Okay, did the balloons ever drop?
The balloons dropped. They all came down. It looked good.
That's as far as it went.
Well, no, then it got through the whole system, and then it didn't look too good on election night.
No.
When I did the Javits Center.
Too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, too bad for you.
Well, everybody sitting there all sort of came apart.
Isn't there a room when everybody's crying, you said?
Well, in the main room, the Javits Center was full of people.
Oh.
And about 10 o'clock it started looking bad, and by 11 o'clock it was over.
Oh.
And
so
people were upset.
Yeah, I'm sure. And it's surprised too, probably.
That's right. And so what you're trying to do is document the moment.
We better not say too much, or we'll have an enemy, if you know what I mean.
Well, what's that mean? Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you don't want to go into it.
No, I'm neutral. I'm neutral, so are you. Yeah, okay. Your way of, you're so unique. I don't know if anybody else draws just like you do, or...
Well, I come out of the art studios in Chicago, and that's where I apprenticed, and my father was an artist for Chicago. Franklin McMahon. And all my brothers and sisters are artists.
So it's a family thing? Your wife, your daughter, your son?
At our gallery we show their work at the gallery, and we also show my father's work, and we show my work.
It's amazing if anybody just wants to go there and look at everything. I mean, it's just an amazing place with all those paintings you did, and you do it in such a short time, and there's so much detail.
Well, historically, there's nothing like it, because my father, from 1955, he started covering subjects like the Emmett Till trial for Life magazine.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
And then he also, then that took him into the civil rights movement. But then he also covered for NASA, he would cover the space shuttles and he also covered Gemini, Apollo, Saturn missions for NASA. And I was assigned to the space shuttle for NASA,
were you?
which is what this painting is about here. That was the first painting I did at NASA of the first launch of the space shuttle. And then the afternoon I went up on the structure there and then did a drawing across on it. And that drawing hangs at Houston at NASA Center, that painting.
It's too heavy to show, right?
Well, it's there. It's it hangs on the wall there.
No, I mean the painting.
This drawing right here?
Yeah, did you carry that in?
Yep.
It looks so heavy. I
Well,
mean, the
it's,
frame, the size of it probably.
Well, I'm a hefty guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I
Especially when
carried
you
that
wear
right
your
in here,
favorite
you know.
shirt.
Yeah, I wear my favorite shirt.
I know you're on several magazine covers with that shirt on, and you wear it at your studio also. And
Yeah, sure.
you must
sure.
have painted it yourself with
Well,
all
you want
those
to be
lines.
you want to be the cutting edge of fashion. So, yeah. Now, the
Oh, there's a picture. There it is.
yeah, that's the space shuttle.
Oh, it must have been, you must have given it to them.
And when I was doing the drawing, an astronaut, Shriver, walked by, and so I had him sign down in the lower left-hand corner. His signature was there. And then
They'll think that he drew it, though.
that's right. Yeah, well, it's crooked. He drew it crookedly, so my signature is bigger. In that
I
way.
see.
So,
Yeah, so they could tell it
Yeah.
was you. Yeah.
Now, the other, I did the first launch of the space shuttle for NASA. And then my father, who's Franklin McMahon, did the landing in California. And when you go to NASA Center in Houston, those paintings hang next to each other there.
Yeah, I'm sure you miss him, working with him and everything.
Yeah, well, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
And he had some good skills, that guy.
Yes, yeah,
so.
and it carried down to you. You inherited them.
Yeah, and I've come from a family of artists, so all my brothers and sisters are artists also, and
good.
photographers and sculptors. And so we come from a whole family of
Well, that's good.
artist types.
No black sheep, nobody that's
Well,
not an artist.
my sisters married well.
To a doctor.
Yeah, they married doctors
Well, that's not,
and accountants.
but that's not blood relatives, is it?
No. But
Okay, they better stay married then.
that's right. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to show some of the pictures that you've brought that they're going to show?
yeah. Also, since the convention, the Cubs won a big game.
Oh, right.
And I did a whole series of those on. I did a series on the World Series in Chicago. In front of Wrigley
That
Field.
was once in a lifetime, up to date.
Well, the first time in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
Probably.
108. I'm not 108 yet, but I'm working on it. So.
You hope.
Yeah, but this is the back side of the ballpark.
Oh, look at this.
And
This
when
is a
I was
colorful
doing my
picture.
drawing there, I was drawing on location. So the cars would pull up next to me, and the door opened on the car. And Pete Rose got out right there. And then,
The Cincinnati player.
yeah, Cincinnati Red. And then another car pulled up, and then A-Rod got out right there next to me.
A-Rod, oh my.
And then, now it was Pete Rose about that big, and A-Rod's about that big. And then another car pulled up, and there was Frank Thomas.
Oh, from the White Sox, wasn't he?
Yeah, from the White Sox and stuff. And he's like that big.
Oh,
he's like
so-
huge. Yeah.
Oh, just the opposite of them.
Yes.
Pete Rose, he's not in the Hall of Fame. Isn't there some?
Yeah, they're
or
trying to
something?
keep him out because of betting on games, I think is what he was up to.
I see.
Yeah.
So, do you want them to show some of the paintings that they incorporated?
That would be
now?
fine, sure.
Okay,
if you go through those paintings, I'll tell you what those are and
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
here's
now,
one.
yeah, this is this.
Botanic Garden.
This is the Botanic
Oh, I
Garden.
guessed.
And the Orchid Show started this week.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's a painting I did over there about 2 or 3 weeks ago
Oh,
of an
very
orchid
good.
tree. And then here is another painting of the orchid show. Now that drawing there is, that's the election night at the Javits Center. In
Did you show the balloon picture, or no? We didn't see that one yet.
yes, they showed the balloon picture of it.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah,
did we
that's it.
show it now?
Now this is the Legends event for the Lake Forest Historical Society, and my father and my work was celebrated there, and I did a nice thing with Bill Curtis there to kick that off, and so that goes into their into their Legends section.
Yes.
The other guys are Jim Lovell, the astronauts one. And then, gosh, I got to come up with these names. Well, Bill Curtis is one for sure. And Adrian Smith, the famous architect, is one. And I think they're into 5 or 6 now, legend group.
Nice and colorful.
And that's the Botanic Garden, and that's the orchid show that's going on this week.
Yeah, okay.
And in May, I teach a one-day drawing class there, because I can teach
in
you
Lake
in one
Forest.
day everything I know about the art
I'd be
business.
as good as you mean?
That's right, at the end of the day, if you stick with me. And that's the front of the ballpark at Wrigley Field.
Oh, yes, yes.
That piece there. And that one did well. We sold 400 mugs of that image and prints.
Yeah, I saw
of that.
the mugs in your studio.
Yeah, they went crazy at
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Everybody got aboard on that one. So now,
Okay.
the new projects that we're working on is I did a map for the city of Lake Forest showing the town of Lake Forest, and this has been sort of a success for the city, and they use it in the marketing of the town.
Okay.
And so a group, the food group, oh my gosh, what's the name? I've got it right here. It is the Grand Food Center in Winnetka commissioned me to go into Winnetka, and I've been working on this drawing for, I was there yesterday putting the buildings in, so this is the first draft.
And you're doing a map of Winnetka also, right?
Yes, that's what this is.
Oh.
And then this will become a 10-foot by 10-foot mural in their grocery store.
Oh, my.
And then it'll also be used to promote Winnetka.
And you're also doing a mural in your studio, too, at the rear of the studio, you said?
It'll that mural will be built at my studio gallery in Highwood.
Yeah, and when will that be ready?
I'll start that next month.
And you'll be
When
through
I
by-
return from a project I have a couple trips coming up right now.
To the Middle East, right?
Yeah, Oman, and then I also have a project in Sicily, Italy.
Yeah, I know you mentioned
And
that.
I do a lot of traveling like that.
And you do your work right there, and yeah, and if
I
you
would-
don't finish, you remember what to include when you get back, or?
Well, I take photographs
Oh,
for
I see.
details and things like
okay,
that.
okay.
So, yeah.
So-
Now, this is the Botanic Garden.
Yeah.
This is the orchid show, which we've already shown.
Yeah.
Here's Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Oh.
It's a drawing done on location there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's so much detail you do. You like to do that, I guess.
Well, but there's a lot of things going on where I sit down
Uh-huh.
and stuff. There's usually a lot of things going on.
And you don't use a ruler or anything. Your lines are so perfect.
Well, you learn how to do that. You do 1,000 times, and you get a good line out of it.
Don't your arms hurt?
No, I've never had them hurt.
Oh, it's like an exercise, right?
Yeah, well, you just stretch it out, and
Oh.
but the big lines you got to focus on.
Oh,
those.
yeah, I'm sure.
What I use these for, though, is these get used in books, and they also get used in magazines. And it used to be that a lot of my work, I did undercover narcotics for the Chicago Tribune.
Oh.
And I would go out with the undercover agents and do drawings while these guys are doing their job.
Oh,
And I would go. I did the Indy 500 for Sports Illustrated, and what these drawings would be used for is stories in the different magazines that I work for.
Oh, I know you brought magazines. You're on several of the covers, even, of the magazines.
Yes, this project most recently was for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I did last year for them on their campus.
And you did all those down below, all those figures and...
Yeah, the blue gold game at Notre Dame. But then also what you're doing is it's just not one picture.
Oh.
What you do is you open up the, hope I can go right to this.
They have a directory, I know.
Yeah, you go, and what you do is you do a series of drawings
Oh, yeah.
like this that tell the story of the projects, winter coming out, from winter going into spring at Notre Dame University. And that's what the story is about.
Oh.
And so you do that, like that. And then the map usage is like this, used in a city planner for the city of Lake Forest and things like that. So what you're doing is I'm doing pictures, but they're not really what you would call pretty pictures.
Oh.
And they're more
They're
editorial
realistic.
pictures. Yeah, and they're documenting a subject that can be used in the marketing of different institutions and things like that.
So it's not just like a flower, a pretty picture of a flower.
Well, no, I don't think anybody's...
Still life.
Yeah, there was an artist here in Highland Park, Derek Norman, who was a fantastic botanic artist.
Oh.
And I would always show him one of my drawings of a flower, and he said, "That's not even close to a botanical drawing, Mark."
No, no.
Yeah, but I said, I have no interest in getting
Yeah,
really
nobody will
colored.
go there if they look at your picture.
Yeah, they would be scared. So,
It's spooky.
yeah, it'd be spooky and stuff.
So, yeah, that's interesting. What made you be so interested in something like that? I mean, the way you do it, it just came to you, or?
My father, who was an artist, he did a lot of editorial work. He covered, he traveled with all the presidents.
Oh.
And traveled in all the civil rights marches across the South.
Oh.
And as kids, we went with him through the South to all the civil rights marches.
Oh.
And Selma, Jackson, Montgomery.
Oh.
And my family was always at those marches. And he was painting paintings of those things. And I said, gosh, I can do this, you know, and stuff. And so all my brothers and sisters
How
had
many
that
were
skill.
there? 8, you said, or something?
Well, there are 9 of us.
Oh,
And so,
my.
yeah, I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters.
Oh, and yourself.
Yeah, and then myself.
You're the extra, the 9th.
The 9th one.
Yeah, the deciding vote, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah.
Maybe Mr. Trump can use you.
Well, I don't know. You're going to need some deciding votes here. So.
Yeah, because he did have one, you know.
You've already had a couple.
Yeah, I know of the one
Yeah.
last week or something, the 9th vote. They said that was the first time in years.
Now,
that
I tried to go do the Republican convention,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get credentials in there.
Oh, really?
So I got credentials into the Democratic, so I went and covered that.
Oh.
Credentials are getting trickier and trickier because it used to be you could call up and get a credential
Really?
and get into anything.
Oh.
Now you can't. And with editorial having its struggles. Yeah,
What's this picture now?
well, that's the space shuttle.
Oh.
And I did the space shuttle, the first launch, and then Dad did the landing in California.
Oh.
And NASA's used those, and there's a lot of books with our work in it done on
Really?
the space program.
Oh, good.
So,
Or you were talking about credentials?
well, credentials are harder and harder to get because with editorial weakening the way it's weakening, they don't hire guys like me to go in and do the stories. So I do the stories and then sell them to the magazines.
I see. So they...
Yeah.
So they think that they did it all.
Well, our paintings, like at Getty Images, Bill Gates had a company called Corbis.com, and we had 1,700 of our paintings on that site.
Oh, my goodness.
And then Bill Gates just sold that company to Getty, images, and so those have now been moved over to that site. Well, reproduction rights are bought off of those artworks.
Oh,
And they're mostly historical paintings. So when there's books published, they buy copyrights to use those paintings in books. So we receive some of the, we get a quarterly list of the paintings that have been used.
You're such a busy person.
Well, you've got to stay busy or the sand will fill in quick.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all very interesting. And nobody else does work like you do, right?
Well, nobody, fewer and fewer people can make a living at what I do.
Oh,
And you sort of force yourself into these different situations. And so I have ways of, by making lines of prints and things like that, and making big ceramic tile murals, it's a way of putting these drawings into the public eye. And so I've done a lot of public art projects, like nine big ceramic tile murals at O'Hare Airport. And then on Van Buren and Federal in the South
that's
Loop
what I was going to ask you. Where
is
that
the biggest
mural is.
mural.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's right downtown.
Yeah, and
Chicago.
that's on Van Buren Federal outside on the street. And
Oh,
that took 1.5 years. And then Lake Forest High School's mural took 2.5 years to
Oh,
build
really?
that
Oh.
with the kids at the school. And I have murals coming now for Winnetka from that map that I'm working on for them. And St. Mary's School is talking with me about a mural for their school for their 100th anniversary
oh,
and stuff.
so they keep you busy.
Well, they call me in as I solve problems
Do
in
you?
art
Oh.
for people. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I'm used to getting commissions because I used to come out of the art studios in Chicago.
oh,
And that was working for all the big ad agencies and,
I
and
see.
stuff in Chicago.
oh, yeah, yeah.
And so very few ad jobs come out my way anymore.
Oh, really? How
But-
come?
Well, I used to do, well, they use photographs. They're all using
Oh,
photographs.
yeah.
And so to go out and find a drawer is,
Time consuming?
well, the young art directors don't know how to go find a drawer these days and stuff.
Oh,
But when I sit at the gallery and when people come and visit and stuff, what happens is projects come out of that. And sometimes, last year I went and did the Shavitz Center in St. Louis.
oh,
And I went with, Jill Shavitz commissioned me to go down and do the Shavitz Center, which is their big sports complex.
oh, yeah, I read about them.
And
yeah,
that's
in Missouri.
Richard
St. Louis,
Shavitz.
right?
Yeah, so Richard and I went down. And I had dinner with him, and then I went and did a painting of his stadium.
Oh.
Then we came back together
Oh,
and
very
stuff.
good. Uh-huh.
That's the kind of work that I do.
Yeah. And what are you going to teach that one course? What is that going to be about?
At the Botanic Garden,
No, the one in Lake Forest, did you say?
well, I'll go, in May I do a teaching at the Botanic Garden.
Oh, it's at the Botanic Garden?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
I'll
even better.
take people out drawing and show them how I work on location, picking out composition and how you put down image and don't get scared by it.
Oh,
And how you keep going, and then at the end of the day, we put some watercolor on it, and we put a little acrylic on it. And hopefully, you'll have a painting by the end of the day.
oh my goodness. Uh-huh.
Usually, everybody's brains melt down, and they all walk away going, "My gosh, how do we do this?" So
Yeah.
you got to reset your thinking to
Yeah.
do a painting.
I find acrylic hard to do. Watercolors are easy, I think.
Well, I use acrylic as a watercolor, and I also use it as acrylic, and I also use watercolor as a watercolor, but I use it wet and dry, and if you use all those tricks, you end up with a painting at the end. And so-
What age were you when you started painting?
well, every kid I know starts when they're little kids,
Oh.
and I always did it. My first job I was paid to work on was for Chicago. For Sports Illustrated, my father's drawing of Comiskey Park
Oh.
when the Sox clinched in '58.
Oh.
He put in the horizontal lines, and when I was 10, I put in the bricks, the
Oh.
vertical lines.
Oh, it waited for you.
Yeah. Well, it took me forever to do the bricks on Comiskey
Did it?
Park.
Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
were 10,
I got
huh?
3 headaches from it. But that's how you have to shift your brain to
Oh,
do that kind of work.
and were your brothers doing as much work as you, or you were the main
My
one?
brother Huey was doing very well. My brother Huey makes his living as a pumpkin carver and a watermelon carver.
Oh,
And he wanders all over the world carving watermelons
Really?
and pumpkins. And he's sort of the king of the pumpkin carvers. And he came to Highwood Days and
Oh.
carved his pumpkins there.
Oh.
But he lives in New York, in Brooklyn.
oh, and he
Heights.
finds that interesting, right?
Well,
to
that's what he
do-
does. He found that niche.
Oh,
He went
oh.
to New York when he was 19
Oh.
to do all the black and white drawings for the New York Times book review. But they kept changing his drawings, and he
Oh.
didn't like that. So one day he said, I can't stand you changing my drawings anymore. He said, I got to go.
Oh,
So he went out and he started carving pumpkins and watermelons.
oh.
And, and he's been doing it for over 40 years.
Gives him
now.
work, yeah.
Well, he's loaded. Yeah, he's
He's a-
always loaded.
Do other people do that, or is he the only one?
Well, he's the only one who's, I mean, Libby Foods hires him and sends him all over the country. And they'll put a stage up at Union Square, and
Oh.
he'll sit on the stage with a huge TV screen carving pumpkins
Oh,
and stuff.
oh.
And he's got a book out for Simon & Schuster on his carving of pumpkins and stuff like
Well,
that.
pumpkins would be good in the fall. What about watermelons, the summertime? Or?
So watermelons are summertime.
Yeah.
So
So what does he do in the winter?
in the winter, well, right now he's down in Mexico.
Oh,
Yeah,
enjoying himself.
Yeah, he's carving radishes.
Oh,
They do that in Oaxaca.
do they?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
I
carve
didn't know that.
fruit. Yeah,
Oh.
they carve fruit, so he goes down.
And then there's the spring.
Spring, well, he'll come back and recover from his trip to Oaxaca.
Yeah, in time for watermelon first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oaxaca, OAX, right?
Yeah, it is.
ACA.
It's I was stunned when I saw how they spelt that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So he must like going there, I guess, every year.
Well, he was just well, we're all wanderers. We've
I
always
see.
traveled. And
Oh.
He was just, I just got an email from him in Barcelona.
Oh.
And then a week later he's in Oaxaca. So I
Oh,
said,
well, yeah,
he's
quite
moving
a
around.
difference.
So.
Oh, well, no, they're both Spanish, actually.
Well, sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm sure he's not totally, fluent.
I mean, the language is a little different, isn't it? Like, I mean, I don't know, I've studied Spanish, I know, but
Well, they're the same. They're
it
pretty
didn't
close.
sink in too much.
There's Spain is elegant.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
Mexico's,
heard.
Down.
Okay. Oh, we're almost through. Yeah, Spain is compared to Mexico.
Well, I
They
knew-
consider themselves
I knew you and I
higher up.
would have no trouble filling up 30 minutes of chatting.
Oh, yeah, could we have another 30 minutes? Did they show everything you wanted to be seen, or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
That's
okay, anything here you would like that we didn't?
No, we went
See?
through everything. I thought that we showed you. What you do is when you're a working stiff artist, you pick up jobs and you wander around and
Right,
do the
yeah.
commissions. But there's a million.
Nomads, you're a nomad.
Yeah, that's right.
And your family just follows with you, or?
Well, when Carolyn and I were going to get married,
I think I saw her picture in a magazine somewhere.
yeah, she just had one in this week. And
Yeah,
stuff.
some group
Yeah.
that she belongs to.
And
yeah.
When we were going to get married, I went into the art studio and I quit my job,
Oh,
which is sort of backwards the way most guys work.
yeah.
So they go get a job after they get married, or something to settle down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I quit so I could go home and work at home.
Oh,
And
that was
so-
convenient.
Yeah, and then we've been doing that for about
And
45
then you
years.
didn't have to have an office, other than your gallery, I mean.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
and so that's good. Was the Art Institute popular then? I know everybody was going to the Art Institute for...
Well, I went to school in Colorado. I went to high school in Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Oh, yeah, you have a picture of
And I
Steamboat.
was a ski jumper for that town.
Oh.
And I rode a herd of horses for a couple
Oh.
years. And then I went to college in Alamosa, Colorado,
Oh.
to a small school there. And they were still teaching watercolor and painting and
Yeah.
things like that. Whereas at the Art Institute, they were teaching, the guy who won the big scholarship had put himself in a box for 2 days and then beat himself out with a sledgehammer.
You're kidding.
And they thought that was the greatest thing
Oh,
since
yeah.
sliced bread.
Like
And I said, I think I'm going back to Colorado.